turned what was strong in game number 1. No Zoe so far today. Been a bit of a surprise given how much Zoe prior there's been. Waiting to see if Afreeca want to mix too much up. There's Aurelia, Alistair, and Xinjiao, the band, in game number 1 on the blue side. Talia, Vlad, and the Nocturne on the red side. I feel like Spirit's Nocturne more likely to slide in this time than any other point in the draft.
See if he wants to take that one away from Rush. Talia yet again here from KT. They banned Nocturne in game 1 on red side, so maybe they try to take that one away yet again.
That's what it means for Shen, because the Shen first pick was very useful in game number 1. The last moment here, the Afreeca Freecs on blue side. In this spot was Alistair in game number 1. The debate changes and they actually will ban away the Swain. Respect ban shown. So we saw a respect ban from KT against the Anivia. Now UCal draws a respect ban with the Swain. That probably feels pretty good. And now there's a lot to ban. There's actually a lot open. To me, this actually favors the red side because the 2 picks are seeming pretty powerful. And that means that all of Shen, Nocturne, Aurelia, Zoe, and more are available.
Darius, Aatrox.
Yeah, a lot of first-roundable champions here. The Camille also available. So 4 at least power picks. So KT can get 2 strong ones on the red side. The Nocturne priority when Spirit in the lineup is high. If you guys missed the end of last season, Spirit was spamming Nocturne solo queue post-buff, but it never actually saw play because the buffs came in too late for the LCK to be available on that Nocturne. Sorry, you never want to allow Shen to be open to pair it with the Nocturne. That's the big duo.
Yeah.
The early days of this season, so they'll split away the Shen, largely been a support pick, and I guess that's going to be a mid lane Lulu most likely for UCal.
Could be into the bottom lane if they want to give that to Deft, but doesn't really seem his style.
Don't you want to see some more attack speed damage Lulu from UCal? He likes to pump out the deeps on this champion. So probably going to be mid lane.
Yeah. More than likely. We'll see where it's going to go. Afreeca now. Next 2 picks. See what they want to do. The Mordekaiser on the board might just be the takeaway here. So yeah, it's going to be locked up for aiming in the bottom lane, you would expect. Could be mid lane for Kuro, to be fair.
It is ripped away from Death's hot little hands, though, so that's going to be interesting to see what he wants to take into the Mordekaiser X. You could just take the support here. That's what you'd usually see, unless you want a Zoe. And the Zoe, instead, might actually be the answer to the Lulu matchup we've seen quite a few times already in the LCK. But no, it's the Bruise Bros. They're stealing away the Bruise Bros.
Yep, Ornn coming through for the bottom lane.
Man. Now, whichever is the carry on the side of KT, maybe you just go Bruiser. Because if you're, say, an Ezreal or a Lucian, and you have Ornn ult and the Paranoia Nocturne flying at you, that's pretty much the worst day of your life.
Yeah, not going to be a good time. And Deft had a good time in the last game, but before that, it certainly wasn't. I don't think he wants a repeat of game number 1. Camille will be locked in here for the side of KT, so Rush going to be trying his hand at the Camille.
In case you're wondering, the Bruise Bros are affectionate name for Mordekaiser Ornn duo. That would require Tucson to be on the Ornn. He's played it before. Mata and Tucson, 2 of the people that played it in spring, back at full power levels on that Ornn. And KT going to ban away the Anivia, would have had to be first rounded by the side of Afreeca. It might just be Anivia and Zoe banned away.
You know, something I'm surprised we haven't seen from Tucson yet. There's still time, but a Camille support. He ran it before in spring. He's the madman. He's done it. But in this meta, you would think that maybe it'd be okay.
There's so many better roles for Camille right now, though.
That's true.
That it seems hard to justify. We had the pump and hyper farm the Camille up in experience and items yesterday with Braum mid, so Camille can go all over the place. No Mundos allowed is the decision. It's a big pick for Smeb. But they're guessing that it's going to be the support Shen that's been very common, and honestly, it's very good into specifically the Mordekaiser because it works in Bruiser lanes, so it's probably almost certainly going to be Mata on the Shen. Alistair banned away, so a lot of Tucson's fallback champions have been banned away. So far, the Rakan Alistair, the initiation duo, banned against Tucson.
I feel like it might just be that Ornn support. We'll see. Vayne gonna be hovered. That seems
Now, if you could disengage the initial engage and then start tumbling, anything would be possible. Def just played Ashe already. That would be too risky in this particular game. Would he really lock the Vayne? Varus is also pretty risky also. Interesting to see he's gone Varus. So gone completely for lane. They just want to dumpster Mordekaiser in lane. They can get access to the minion line early. If they can get the level 1 zone on the Mordekaiser, there's almost no comeback mechanic for Mordekaiser to build up his passive. What about Afreeca Freecs, though?
Hovering in the Vel'Koz right now.
Zoe available, remember. Hasn't been taken, was not banned away. And they won't be going Zoe. We're going to be going either support or mid lane into the Vel'Koz. We can't know for sure. Bot lane, it will be able to pressure the Varus a little bit. Maybe that would buy some space for the Mordekaiser, but let's wait and see. And a Darius locked in. Okay.
This tells me nothing.
No, we're going to have to wait. You know, that's the reality of when you have patch 8.11, we see 10 champions 20 seconds in. Predictions not need apply right now, and honestly, they might not know until they see the 5th champion from KT. All right, KT Rolster, how do you round out this drop? We think you're looking for a top laner. You are.
Oh, boy.
This would be a top lane gangplank.
We'll get locked in, so top lane GP over for Smeb. Going up against what I would expect is the Ornn, but maybe it's a Darius.
Going to be the Darius into GP, which is a good matchup for the Darius. They probably didn't have that cemented right till the end. That would mean Ornn Mordekaiser in bot side most likely. Again, it could be it could be flexed around a little bit, but I don't see the reason to. I could understand Vel'Koz to try to pressure Varus, but then level 6 hits, Shen or Varus gets you with CC and you die. This is probably going to be the end. So it will be Bruise Bros, it will be Mordekaiser Ornn in the bot side, and Vel'Koz versus Lulu with Zoe available and going begging is a very interesting decision by the side of Afreeca.
Okay. Vel'Koz brought out. Seen a whole lot of that one. Darius up into the top lane for Keen, so we'll be deviating away from that Aatrox the first time. Got 4 in a row from him, but not going to be 5, so Darius coming through. Trying out something a bit different. Going up against the gangplank from Smeb, something that he is obviously very well versed on. That is going to be an interesting matchup to be seen.
And there's some really fun teamfight synergies to talk about for Afreeca. We'll do it when the champions are back on screen in game number 3. Once we get rolling, but I think Afreeca has some very fun little combos they can pull off, but it's all about this one. This is for the win.
Yeah, this is it. This is game number 3. Both of these teams only playing 1 match prior to this, undefeated at the moment now. One will fall, one will exceed. They will go up towards the top of the standings. Let's see who it's going to be. Afreeca Freecs or KT Rolster. Let's do it. Took a little while, but the audience has filled up for the most part here. Nice Saturday evening.
Definitely sold out. You can always tell by whether there is fans in the side areas. They are the last to sell because they are a bit of limited vision seats. There are fans there. Not everyone made it to the studio. That's unfortunate. Seats did sell. As KT Rolster want to sell us on their candidacy for LCK Summer 2018. Still looking for that first title for the veteran Score. Still trying to make things work, and maybe Score will have to share the limelight with Rush. I think he'll accept it if he gets part of a trophy for the win, even if he doesn't play all of the games. And Rush in the clutch is the surprising choice here, Achilleos.
It is.
Starting with Rush, an aggressive jungler, kind of the pictures of Peanut in the past. Now you have Rush trying to close the series, and that's a different role for him. So very interested to see how that goes in this game number 3.
It would actually be hilarious, though, if Score didn't play at all in a grand final, and then he got his first title because of that, carried by Rush.
I mean,
what a timeline it would
he's
be.
tried many other ways to get a title. Maybe you have to get creative. He's
gotta
getting
think
old, you know.
outside the box. I'll just never play.
Pre-retirement, you have to do what you gotta do. So the Bruise Bros are here, and they take a whole lot of fun damage. However, Varus has to take a very roundabout way to get to the minion wave. Mordekaiser clashing the minion wave is very important as Rush. That's an early game.
Yes, it is. Keen already using that decimate as well. It's going to be the flash in just to get the slow up. Keen has his flash to follow, but go ahead, pop that one, get sunned up underneath the turret. Rush, third shot coming through. Spirit ready to pick it up, gets the hit in. Needs a final tag, flashes through, gets the follow-up kill. Now
two.
that's going to be the sphere, nearly coming through. Smeb has to flash away, TP back up in from Keen. Keep hit to get himself a back in, so he can't lose out on that much CS. In the meantime, Mata goes forward, gets that nice little taunt there on the aiming, junk down below half HP. Good harass coming in from the KT bot lane, but a 1-for-1 to start things off, as has happened every game before.
And honestly, you might have to direct me, Achilles. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to definitely skip over something. Top side, Rush flashed in because he didn't want to use his hook shot till after Darius already flashed,
Yes.
then he has to go under turret. Ends up being a 1-for-1. And speaking of 1-for-1s,
Yep, Fear going to connect here into the mid lane. Pop up from the Vel'Koz. Yukal going low, and he will get burned out. Kuro finds
Rush.
the shit. Now, the hit now, Rush. Gonna be going low. Spirit roaming the other way, gets the smite off there onto the Raptors. Tries to keep himself alive. Fear coming in. Smeb gonna go down, but he trades it a 1-for-1. And whoo! Oh boy, that was a slip up. Knock up, not gonna connect. Kuro going low on the mana here. Rush dashes in, gets the stun. We'll trade it back. 3 for 3 across the board. Good God, what's going on?
the Fiesta feels good, man, as we finally do see Rush going in because he had the first reaction from Smeb. Closes it out as well, but getting the kill onto Vel'Koz. Not enough cooldowns, not enough mana, couldn't hit all the skill shots. Auto attack war will go the way of Rush, who had his passive back up, an old buff, but a goodie. Darius not involved in it. 3 for 3 in terms of kills, 6 kills in 3 minutes. Welcome Achilles to 8-11.
I'm sorry, I derailed myself. Fined. I will be fined, apparently. That's my slip up, but it's all good. 3 for 3 right now. Gold's gonna be even. Man, we're just going full Fiesta. Both junglers gonna be 2-1 with 1 assist as well.
Hey, if you want a Fiesta, which is most high elo solo queue games, wouldn't you want Rush on your team? This guy was always the jungler who, in solo queue, would close games. His Nidalee famous, his Lee Sin famous, Camille, the playmaking undeniable. Big pickup for him, very, very involved. Looked like madness, ended up being genius. 2-1-1 on both junglers. Superpowered junglers, and you don't even need a support mid. Who knew it could happen, Kilios? Fun to see. Let's talk about bot lane a little bit. The Bruise Bros are here. Reason why I like Mord and Ornn together is that Ornn has CC, Mord has damage, and they close the distance together with the Mord W giving movement speed. So they actually end up whacking away, and especially at 6 when the ultimate's there for the Ornn. They close the distance in a Mord lane better than most Mord duo lanes could ever dream of.
Spirit right now, gonna be recalling. Needs to get back into the jungle and farm up a bit. He's still level 3, whereas Rush is 4. So it's gonna be a bit further ahead, but needs to get that ultimate in. Will allow for ganking, especially the bottom side of the map. Jumping onto that bear is that much easier.
I'll talk a little bit about what I was alluding to in Champs, that the combos on the side of Afreeca, they're not just lane combos. Consider Paranoia plus a Vel'Koz ultimate has a similar mechanic to Paranoia plus a Twitch ultimate in terms of the fact that he has such long range that he might actually be out of vision range while using the ultimate while the Paranoia is available, especially over a structure.
It's true.
That would be true. Also, the Paranoia comes down and the Ornn ultimate is harder to spot, so there is nice little combos that can be used. When it comes to the actual duo though, the reason why Deft has chosen Varus, because you see Varus picked into Ornn and you have flashbacks to horror stories of spring season, is that in the lane, those auto and blight trades with the E and the Shen being so strong against melee champions, he actually gets into range of them for the Ornn. It's all about attacking lane for Varus. Once again, KT focusing on as much supremacy early as possible.
Rushing to the top side. Spirit was spotted walking into that brush.
He wants to scuttle.
Go ahead and start that one up. See if Rush wants to contest him for that. Looks like he's not even going to get there in time, so Scuttle Crab is going to be grabbed for free. Ward will come down into the river, though. Both junglers going to be spotted. Everybody going to be aware of this.
Smeb roamed, and it's a bit of a dog lane for Gangplank. Was chosen into effectively probably Darius, and ended up being Darius. Can never walk up. Your orange doesn't work against the CC coming from Keen, and by that I mean the apprehend. Works against the slow, but the slow is the least of your problems to deal with, and Gangplank uses his ult, I assume on a minion wave. Unsure which minion wave.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just heard of the shots thundering in the distance.
That happened. Again, don't know where it was, but it did happen. Goes back and buys the random sampler of Trinity Force.
No one died, so not really of any consequence here.
I feel like those are the items that symbolize, they're like the sampler edition. They send you the Ruby Crystal, Sapphire Crystal, and Longsword, and they're like, you can put this together to much more. Just 3 easy payments of 1,000 gold.
It's like a very basic Lego set.
Yep. Can't really build anything with these ones.
Always one of those giant ones, you know, the thousands and thousands of pieces that make like a Millennium Falcon.
True.
Never got it.
Those are still super expensive.
I
Right?
know, that's why.
Even
Hundreds of dollars even back in the day.
There's like a new issue one that's from the new trilogy, but I think it's also super, super expensive.
Yep.
What I want you guys to inspect in Mordekaiser lanes, you can kind of work out if it's good or bad by how much of Mordekaiser's passive there is. Because it's Varus Shen, it is so risky for him to walk up to a minion wave if it's not near his own turret. The Mordekaiser will almost never have any of his passive built up unless it's after the wave has already crashed to him. So that's the thing. Mordekaiser thrives on having the ability to stand in the minion wave, trade, and push. Can't do that against this lane unless the snowball begins. And Spirit, he's doing his best to make that happen.
Well, hovering nearby, just looking for the opening. Is Tucson. Go ahead. Pop the call. The Forge God trying to lock him down. In the meantime, he's going to be clearing out this ward. Spirit on the roam out, still hovering nearby, in range for the ultimate, but seems like Afreeca not ready to commit at the moment.
And the moment the Deft gave away a minion wave and harassing, they knew that KT had plenty of idea what's happening. Deft's gone for the most selfish shielding, gone for the barrier this game. Barrier and press the attack for, again, amplifying damage, and his own damage mostly, I would argue. Yukal, sadly, that's not a stinger. He's going for the Banner of Command first.
Unfortunate.
BDD's already shown us the way of Banner of Command Vel'Koz in a MSI final, so anything's possible with the builds in mid lane these days. The Raptor Cloak, very respectful from Aiming, who also will be building a Banner of Command. Thankfully, this is only a couple of week meta. The banners are on the ways out. They're on the fritz, but still live, so still going to be built.
Yep. It's, you know, it's more annoying than the Zerat Portal meta that we had some time ago.
That was pretty short, and Zerat Portal's a bit more manageable, I would argue, than Banner of Command. Especially after it was nerfed, so tanks could actually kill it before tanks like, damn,
yeah.
this thing's tanky. But
that's what this is more annoying.
Oh yeah. Mages might disagree a little bit because they had to deal with old Banner of Command, but
true.
Speaking of Banner of Command, already used by Aiming, team player.
Got it ready to go.
Yeah. Both these champions, if they max W on the Vel'Koz, Q on Lulu, are pretty much the same. They walk up and disintegrate minion waves, so this allows the Vel'Koz to roam first, which is very, very difficult most of the time. With the point runner passive of the Banner of Command, Yukal gets to lane pretty fast with Whimsy and that. But Rush wants to come to mid lane to allow Lulu to get comparable wave clear. Thanks, Banner of Command.
Well, maybe we're looking at a dive here. Call the Forge God comes through, does clip the Shen. Dive into the back, however. Looking for depth. He's going to go low. Shield coming down now from the Stand United. Mana trying to keep him alive. Does so, and now Spirit's going to be low. Gets chunked down immediately as Smeb arrives at the TP. Takes him down with a couple shots. 4-3 here. The rest of Afreeca Freecs peeling back. KT turning that one around.
Everyone piles in. It's just a 1 for 0. That's the only thing to speak of. But it's at the same time that Yukal promoted a ranged minion, a melee minion, I should say, into the mid lane. So they're going to get a bit of turret damage from this. They're going to get control on the Drake as well. Uh-oh, Achilleos. The Mordekaiser comes, not going to get the first Drake. That could be very costly for the side of Afreeca Freecs.
Can't take that one down. Mountain Drake over to KT. Good start, still going to be slightly behind in gold. There's a lot of depth and rush come crashing down here into the bottom side. Tucson and Aiming just to peel back, likely recall, go home and spend some of this gold that they have.
Big denial, getting rid of the first dragon to run through the lane, courtesy of the Mordekaiser Ghost. Smeb roam down, and he's down 20 CS, Klepto, but no other forms of gold generation. It's just tricky for Smeb. If he ever really steps out of line, Darius has a very easy ability to kill him. Boots 2 and the Rage passive at the Phage already, but is countered by Gangplank having his own. Tora returns to mid. Looks like he's building ability power. How novel on the Vel'Koz.
My God. It's a madman.
Wonders never cease.
not that much ability power. We can't get that excited yet.
Well, I think it'll turn into a losing set. It's a little bit exciting, but sliding scales of excitement on 8-11.
Not going to see any big burst damage coming out of him for a little while.
So, first part of the checklist broken for the side of Afreeca. Couldn't get that Drake. Taking the mid-bot lane turret would be lovely, and it is below 50% HP. See if Nocturne comes for a repeat game, trying to force something down upon that structure and unleash the Mordekaiser onto the map. Rageblade not yet done for death, so in that awkward time where really wish to have the item completion. That way you can always just stack up on a minion wave and turn when someone comes into your face. Banner command used on his own minion. They really want this bot lane turret and start roaming to the Afreeca Freecs.
Quite a bit of damage in onto this one. It's going to be the ultimate coming down. Getting corruption in, looking for the stun. Rush kind of botched that one, but still throws down the ultimatum. The charge port there from Spirit. It's just going to be 1-for-1 yet again, same exact time. As we see Rush go down in exchange for Tucson.
It's important to see who goes down. That was the Ghost, but not enough to even get the turret from a slight and momentary outnumbering. Death not dying, very important because his summoners are both on cooldown and he was still able to survive. That means the turret survives as well. What the lane assignment will be, this is just Death saying, Rush is here, let's make something happen. Nocturne on the right side of the map to respond. Trade of kills, support traded for jungler. While it's a trade up in terms of role picked up by the side of KT. It's also important, by the side of Afreeca I should say, important that if KT are able to keep that turret alive.
Odd play there from Rush to start things off. Clipped into the Ornn. Thought he was going to be able to flash over him. Get the stun in. But even then, I'm not sure if that would have helped out, really, as Spirit was Johnny on the spot with that ult coming in.
Could have been the decision to make a lane swap. I believe it was game one where Afreeca made the lane swap with a very low health bot lane turret trying to attack somewhere else on the map. Seems like Mordekaiser and Ornn are just going to completely focus on taking this bot lane turret, but they don't have complete vision. They have some approximation of the blast plant on the bottom side, and it seems like Spirit isn't going to stay bot side. That means this laning phase will extend. The Rageblade is now there for Deft, returning to this low health turret. It's going to be frustrating for the side of Afreeca.
Well, no one near Spirit. He's completely alone on that side of the map, so the Rift Herald's going to be a very easy take.
But this is actually correct from both junglers. Spirit knows that Rush has to be bot side because he's got the low health turret to defend. So why not go top side and take an objective? He's already got a pushing priority lane in Keen. This Rift Herald will be free. Getting that free objective is the right call. Being in the right quadrant as the jungler is usually the easiest way to tell how good a jungler is in solo queue is what they do when your jungler makes a move. Are they punishing by stealing camps? Are they there for the counter gank or proactive move? That is what Spirit is doing, taking the Rift Herald under no threat of it being stolen.
Well, it's just going to help them break down that mid tower because already top and bot have been prepped, or maybe they can just go ahead and try to snowball that lane into a tier 2. See what they want to do. Mata just using his little Hex Flash there.
Wanted to get around wards, but is spotted on a smart little ward on the entrance towards the Drake. Keen keeps farming, 31 CS, but with 2-1 and 2 and Kleptos, Map is definitely in a gold lead compared to his laning opponent. Always fun to see the different places you put wards to spot deep. Speaking of going deep,
it's going to be ultimatum getting thrown down here as Spirit trying to duel out here with Rush. Stand United comes in, Mata arriving to help back up as Camille. Rush is chunked out, now they're on the wrong side. They try to exit the jungle. In the meantime, Lockdown coming in onto the Nocturne, and Spirit is just going to get popped. Deft finding that kill. Now the Afreeca Freecs, now they're going to be the ones that are pinched in here. Keen gets jumped on the top, comes through. Vel'Koz trying to use the Disintegration Ray. Doesn't manage to find one. Trades that back, but it's still going to be Afreeca Freecs losing 2 members. Now Taunt in on to aiming. Big jump comes through. They'll have to flash away. KT will go ahead and peel out of the jungle, but they come out on top.
And KT back up Rush and are in position to find advantages, specifically on the bot side. Deft, even in the enemy jungle, is able to find Spirit, who used the flash over the wall to the Krug camp and is taken down. Afreeca had previously banners, taking the turret. Maybe actually makes things worth on the side of Afreeca. They're going to push as well, so Afreeca's pullback and capitalization after the fight actually gets them a bit of a lead. They have the multiple banners to hold people in check. Rush goes in. Varus reacts very early, and when aiming and Tucson fully commit, Varus just assassinates Spirit, who might have spotted him just on the tail end of the vision. Sadly not enough. Pops his ultimate, kind of a waste. The Paranoia was his hope to be able to answer. Aurora opens up in vision. A lot of damage coming out of that disintegration rate. Very even overall, but now the Rift Herald in the picture-in-picture and taking the bot lane outer turret is pretty good stuff for Afreeca.
Afreeca will be able to bounce back. They use the Rift Herald there in the mid lane. So we're talking about the picture-in-picture. Get a bit of damage onto that tower and then go ahead and pick up their own Mountain Drake.
So because of the timing of the promote, they get the bot lane turret, they push in and keep the Lulu in, and they take the Drake. So a lot of fallback objectives from Afreeca after the aggressive move from KT got them gold. Damage dealt shots pretty even. The Vel'Koz ult the majority of his damage.
Yep.
But Afreeca have traded up a couple of times after trading down in terms of the kills. Can't quite cement the mid lane outer turret, but otherwise they got everything they want.
I mean, everything is prepped. Mid and top. Last two remaining outer turrets. Just going to be a couple hits away from getting finished off. So it should just be a matter of time really here for the Afreeca Freecs to go ahead and pick those objectives up. KT still have not found a tower. That was the first brick there for the Afreeca Freecs, helping them claw back a bit of that gold. And right now, I mean, we're pretty much dead even in that regard.
Very excited to see where teamfights go in this game. The build is so different. Polar opposite is the build from Yukal when he has an actual marksman to pair with. He's gone full utility, Ardent Sensor. Try to help Deft live or try to help Deft put out damage. I'm really in two minds on where to award this the game goes on. Usually the team with the marksman against the Mordekaiser, you give a pretty handy advantage. But there's no front line for KT, and that's where Keen could potentially start axing a couple of people left, right, and center. Assuming Deft doesn't put out damage, which some combination of Aura and Nocturne might be enough to engage. Kuro is just free-firing with his ultimate, and the reset start. Could be teamfight victories for Afreeca as the game goes on. However, you make the wrong engage, the Aura ult's not used specifically, Deft free hits, that's teamfight victory. KT's are quite swingy, which is against expectation when a Mordekaiser comp is involved.
Yeah, KT just got to save the Varus, save the world. Try to get that victory. Weren't able to do it in game one.
A Heroes fan?
You know, I watched it.
First season was good.
Yeah.
After that, I like to pretend it was cancelled.
I've been told on a couple occasions I look like, Siler.
I thought you were going to say the cheerleader.
Yeah, I look like the cheerleader. You should see me with my pom-poms. It's just such a likeness.
Reveal yourself.
Things are going to slow down. We have the pace gets picked up, then we slow right back down. Teams start getting nervous. They say, okay, you know what? We're going a bit too crazy. We don't want to lose it. Try to draw it back.
Banner of Command's a pretty cool item on patch 8.11, even after the hotfix. Just to remind you guys.
It's an even cooler item on 8.12.
Well, it's not an item on 8.12, but it's
why it's cool.
For bookkeeping, see in the bottom left, patch 8.11, hotfixes are live, all champions available, including Pyke, in case you guys are joining late. Tucson pieces himself together. I believe the Lucidity boots didn't catch which item he built last. Could have been also the upgrade on his Sightstone item. Just save Deft, save the world is so tricky when the Aura ultimate and the Nocturne exists. It's less reliable because the Varus was picked for lane dominance and the threat of teamfight damage, and they need it because it's Ardent Sensor Lulu. When it was Bruisers, the Lulu had a lot more damage. This time, it's a true AD carry, and that's why we have the differing build coming through from Yukal. Game on a bit of a knife edge. 500 gold lead. Tucson back slowly. Rylai's finally complete. So finally a damage item for aiming rather than the Banner of Command they began with. Drake, usually what we know that Mordekaiser comps will fight around. Vision on both sides, pretty shallow. Good defensive vision for KT around Baron. So it seems like the Baron starts, they're not going to happen. The Drake battles, they're going to be the fun.
The wave clear here between the Varus and the Lulu is just so strong. Getting even the minions in to get any hits on that tower just to chip it down.
And we're going to have to adjust our verbiage, Kilios. I said AD carry, we're going to have to go back to marksman / consistent damage dealer because it seems like Nationals Tooth Varus is going to be the choice here.
Okay.
Hybrid.
Why not?
Kai'Sa style. Probably not going to be full into the AP, but Hybrid Varus was seeing some play for sure.
It's going to be the barrels coming down. Gets rid of both of them, so it doesn't take that much damage, but now he's going to be surrounded here. I think Darius still could be a bit of a questionable situation here. That's going to be the ultimatum thrown down. He'll go golden. Third shots in on the Smeb, needs to decimate, gets that healing back in. Tries to flash away, but Rush is there, has the hook shot. They take him down, but in the meantime, Afreeca Freecs were finally able to knock out this outer tower in mid.
But can Afreeca make something on the map from this? The advantage, of course, of having the 4 mid lane is you can threaten Baron when 2 people are side laning. But unlikely for Afreeca to start the Baron. They have multiple tank it, they have okay damage. This will be turret to Smeb. This will be a longer leash for Smeb, who's closed the CS lead, you'll notice, to about only 10 CS. And he picks up a minion wave. But advantage KT there, making something happen when the mid lane defense was looking like a pretty unlikely thing to make happen.
Aiming at the moment, just going to be soaking up that CS that was being pushed into the tower up top. Goes back, gets himself another blasting wand. Really starting to ramp up his AP. Keen, this has not been the cleanest of games. 0-3-0 here on this Darius. Was once unkillable.
He was once Aatrox also.
Yes.
But sadly has become
moved away.
Darius. Darius, very different champion, and you're right, his fates have been less promising. Nationals Tooth confirmed by the Stinger and the Infantry of Death.
All right, jump forward there from Rush. He's just going ham, looking for Kuro. The shield will come down. Hear that Nocturne ult coming in as well as the TP. Call the Forge God. Got to knock out 3. That's going to be Spirit going forward, looking for Mana. Still going to be alive here for the moment. The Shen going to be pretty tanky, and that's going to be a lot of damage pushing forward there onto Keen and Spirit. Spirit goes down, and Smeb finds the first kill. And all the Afreeca Freecs try to kite back, but Depth just won't let them do it. He takes down aiming 10-5. KT now doubling the kills from the Afreeca Freecs as they really start to take hold of this game.
Wombo engaged, but no ability to capitalize on it. Keen can't get any rotations or any sort of resets going on this Darius. If they don't close the distance to their melee bruisers, team fights will be won by KT. Good job, KT Rolster. They take the mountain as well.
Banner of Command coming out into the mid lane, just tried to delay to keep this turret alive. Looks like he'll do the trick as KT aren't really committing forward for it, but don't get a bit more of a gold lead here. Still very close, despite what the kills would tell you. Go ahead and take another look at this one. This is just Rush just pulling the trigger instantly.
It's not Nocturne Shen, but it has the same ability to initiate. They do well to not just fully initiate from there. And when you see Vel'Koz ulting, you think, is this going to be over? And not able to cement any kills. Nice cleanup from Smeb onto Spirit. The rest of the bruisers weren't in 200 to 300 range to do more damage. But the full commitment, the one-minded commitment from Afreeca doesn't happen. KT outlast with their marksman. Now with the Nationals Tooth in, hybrid damage, consistent damage dealer of Deft, was going to overpower in scenarios like that. Rush had actually gone for a very cool build. He actually went Phage, which is very important to close the distance to the Rage passive, especially pronounced on a melee champion. BF Sword into the Guardian Angel, knows he's very much about engage, but it's not the necessitated Guardian Angel, which is what Cal was criticized for in his recent series. A lot of respect shown there.
Yeah, it's going to be the flash away. Slow coming in here onto Keen. We'll go ahead and pick up that barrel. Tactical sweep not going to clip him. But he doesn't have a tower here. Remember, they already took this one, so he has got a ways to run. Uses the Apprehend. Ultimatum going to come down. He's at half HP, and just to really seal the deal, Jeff will make an appearance. Won't get the tag in, won't get the assist. That's going to be Keen going down at 0-4-0 now on the Darius.
And this is something that teams can learn from when facing a Mordekaiser. You can make these collapsed bot lane plays safer than against any marksman team because the Baron threat of Mordekaiser is so low. You make the same play against Yasuo, he does a lot of consistent damage. That's not Mordekaiser's role. So if you're in this scenario where you're against a Mordekaiser or another champion with very low Baron damage, you have a much longer leash to make the side lane play and get your top laner with teleport ahead.
Well, now vision clear coming through from KT, keeping that turret for the most part pristine there in the top side. They'll sweep up through the river, make sure they have solid control over that Baron.
if Afreeca engineer a way to get Baron, they can perhaps get into this game in a more serious manner. If they can find a way to kill Deft through Lulu and friends, they can get back into this game. But for now, they're just kind of at the whim of their Darius being collapsed on and no counterplay across the map available to the side of Afreeca. Not a meme about Rush, but just the reality of where they currently sit. They can just be very shallow in clearing wards. Wait for a moment, wait for a mistake that may never come from KT Rolster Summer 2018.
27.5 minutes here. And not a single inner turret has been broken. You think of game number 2 that happened just before this one. We were done at 23 minutes, Papa. This one could be a bit of a doozy, a bit of a long-run game.
I think Snowball's
have on our hands
really hard when the first Baron comes, and we know that as death timers get long, the Baron becomes more and more likely. But take your point, certainly not the 22-minute finish that we saw in our previous game. Can't call a game over till the mid lane turret is down, and KT's winning, and the mid lane turret for Afreeca is still up. So a lot of game to be played.
I mean, the top lane turret is up, also still up. KT, that's the one objective that they haven't really been great at grabbing. They just have the 1 to the 3 of the Afreeca Freecs, which is a big reason why Afreeca is still on their heels as far as the gold is concerned.
And there's always a chance you win a game if you throw enough control wards on a Baron to start it up.
Well, there's one thrown into the back of the pit there by KT. That's going to be the TP drawn out from Smep instantly, and Afreeca is going to start peeling back.
They get something for nothing. They get a teleport just for a couple of control wards, and that's the maximum they can force from that. Amusingly, no one could really walk to the back of the pit and auto-attack it, so control ward from the side of KT was very hard to remove. They go back to mid, no harm, no foul, they get a teleport. It's something small, but given that Afreeca had lost the last couple of games, dictated to a couple of times, Afreeca will take it.
And again, hovering back over towards that Baron. Forward still in the back of the pit, going to be cleared out by Keen.
Very interesting next item coming from Deft. Looking like Zhonya's might be his next item. He had a Fiendish Codex, and now I notice he also still has a stopwatch. So going for Stasis on Avaris was never something available after the perfect timing before. Nocturne Dive will be almost negated completely by a Zhonya's effect and a Lulu. So nice little purchase there. Another reason to vindicate the ability power build from Deft this game.
KT just poking around into the mid lane here. Trying to avoid that chip damage coming out from Kuro. Just has the Morel and Avakan here at the moment with the Seraph. They find a bit of a engage there on the Tucson. He's got to pop the flash to get himself out of there. GP ult going to be invested as well.
Tucson had buffered his Searing charge while the taunt affected him and was able to get out with the flash. That was a nice play from him to face check safely as possible. Safety's on a sliding scale as Ornn ultimate just a check.
Go ahead, call that one out. Not going to be getting any pop-ups. Afreeca really interested in going for the engagement. Smab in the meantime, alone in the top side, will be able to break that tower. 2 to 3 in that regard. KT just inching forward a little bit more with that goal.
Only inching. Definitely not running away with this game. Drake's been live for a while. Afreeca can find a way to sneak Mordekaiser down there and someone who could actually damage it. That'd be helpful. He's got a Gathering Storm calculator. Be there onto the Vel'Koz and the Varus.
That's pretty neat.
Can you start the Baron this time? Afreeca started it last time.
No vision in there. Tucson's got to walk forward. That's going to be the Chain of Corruptions coming down. Tucson just gets absolutely demolished. Now you see him, now you don't. He's in the grave, and Deft finds another one.
Someone has to check. It ends up being the Ornn. Suicide move if there ever was one, but no other choice for the side of Afreeca. Baron started again.
Start that one back up. Redemption used as well.
Can they get a ward on it? They don't know the health.
Afreeca trying to push forward here. That's going to be a hook shot in. Hextech ultimatum down in on top of Keen. A lot of damage forward in on Deft and Yukal both going low, and it's going to be Yukal dying first. Deft still in the backside, trying to stay alive. has that Guardian Angel, and he does not. He's going to get clipped, and he will get taken down. Aiming, finds that kill, and now can the Afreeca Freecs try to turn this one around?
They've got Deft to actually damage the Baron. This is really big. They're going to teleport in. They're going to try the Baron.
Threw me for a loop for a second, seeing his name over top of the character, but KT still hovering nearby. Smeb still with that Guardian Angel.
They really want to see a recall to actually feel like there's something up to do it. They're going to do it anyways. The fact that Deft is there as the Bass gives them the distant damage to actually try this objective.
They start this one up. Rush has his GA as well. He's above half HP. He could go in. Can he get the Miracle Steal? It's been Spirit all night long.
Oh, and
taking him away
out.
from score. Let's see if he can answer this one. Mata in the pit. They're going to try to get this one. He gets popped up. He'll get popped. The GA goes through. The smite comes in. It's good. Afreeca take away the Baron against the run of play, and now they're looking to finish off the members of KT. Can't quite get Smeb. He will inch his way out of there right after he takes down Keen, but the Afreeca Freecs have suddenly turned this game right on its head.
Now, Afreeca really outplaying this team fight. Watch what happens around aiming and Kuro. They turn onto the Lulu, and you think, okay, how's this going to go? But Keen flashes over. They can focus down the Lulu after Zonia's. KT have no way to peel for the Lulu. Deft in the backline dies, and he has the highest value clone you could ever want. That Ghost gets so much for the side of Afreeca. Can't beat him, join him. They steal away an AD carry, and that makes Baron a realistic objective.
Yeah, I said GA, he had the Zonias, but I think he's probably wishing he had a GA at that point. They've been brought back in, get that extra little bit of HP. But just great timing as well, coordinating, burning down the Baron while popping the GA on Rush, so he had no chance of getting in there to try to smite it away.
Another game won by a marksman. Don't know what these people are talking about. Marksman everywhere.
Yeah.
Both teams this game.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Well, it's
Running amok.
definitely not game over, but it was so hard to imagine how Afreeca got a Baron. The fact that they have it, and they have very good siege from mostly just the Vel'Koz, means that the press R and run at them is very, very possible. Looking at the last fight, Vel'Koz really controlling some very nice zones. Even just Darius fighting in and zoning away Rush, then flashing over and not dying was so critical for the side of Afreeca.
I mean, Smeb just hard carrying with the damage. Only 143 out of Yukao. Rough
Lulu
stuff.
was caught. Lulu tried to dive in with Rush and then ended up being caught as a Storm Razor was actually built onto the gangplank. You do see this from time to time in the crit barrel, but you don't see it on the AD carries it's intended for.
That's just going to be the apprehend here that drags Smeb out. He'll go low.
Jeez.
Almost burns down. Good God, they almost popped his Guardian Angel.
Suddenly Vel'Koz damage as Death Cap is online.
It's just unfortunately they actually didn't pop the Guardian Angel. That would have been a really nice item to get the cooldown rolling on.
This push happening while the Banner of Command live in the bot side. A lot of meanwhile at banners, so we can't really talk too much about banner skill cap when they're running all over the place. But yeah, the Storm Razor is about doing a critical strike if you haven't attacked for a while, and if you're Gangplank who doesn't attack that often, it's all about getting that big barrel crit. That's the big advantage you get there.
It's already pushing him out, 1K plus on the minions. He's going to need those hits. Going to get rid of these Baron empowered ones.
One to consider for Gangplanks. Other champions, not so much. KT desperately trying to hold onto this turret. Banner and minions going to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Bannon just chunking it out. Not going to get creep blocked by its own kind. Won't be able to get those hits in onto the turret. And now here onto the inhibitor. They're trying to clear this one through, but the inhibitor's down to about half HP already. They'll answer with 2 Baroned up minions of their own.
Banner everywhere. What about Yukao? What about Deft? They are the two to watch on the side of KT, and you already mentioned it. The fact that we gave Afreeca the chance to win team fights, even with Mordekaisers, the lack of frontline. Rush is a carry. Mata is a support. Smeb is a carry, and here's an auto.
Down the half. All the Forge God comes in, does pop up Deft. There's not going to be any follow-up there. Rush goes for it, he's just going to get delayed, and Kane just dunks him right into the grave. Spirit goes forward, looking for the hit. The Zonius comes through. Deft, all the shields being poured onto him with the Wild Growth. He will be able to stay alive, will be able to make it back to the fountain, but I don't know if they'll be able to defend this base.
Rush is positioning like a tank. When he is not a tank, you can even have Guardian Angel, dies instantly. Never going to get any utility from Yukao. He has to give everything to Deft for damage and also for team comp. Afreeca back away, base broken in 2 places. Spirit's broken, I'm sure, for KT in multiple players as well. Game close to over for the Afreeca Freecs. They know that a couple more kills and the game will just end.
The Spirit on the Afreeca Freecs is perfectly functional, however. He's doing well. 9-13, still in that deficit as far as the kills are concerned. Still don't have nearly as many dragons, but it's been all about the towers here for the Afreeca Freecs and that Baron. 7-2. KT have not taken that mid turret yet. It is still standing. It's still healthy as well.
See how powerful the Mundo ban was in the bans, because we ended up with a last pick Gangplank, and that's really where this game has fallen away. If they have a true zone of control tank, let's say an Ornn in the top side, I realize the draft would be different for Afreeca, but following the logic, they'd have someone to walk up. They really have no one to walk up. Rush walked up to try to zone them away from the inhibitor for a couple of seconds and died instantly. This 80 carry with Lulu combination, again 80 carry in inverted commas, but you understand, Varus with Lulu combo works if you have a frontline, but with no frontline, Mordekaiser has more threat than you could ever imagine. Mordekaiser does nothing to an Ornn or a Mundo or something like that in the front line. Keen has so much threat, getting the first kill with Trinity Force Sterix and a bit of poke damage onto the front line. Vel'Koz shreds people in the front line, and that's the struggle for KT. It's not necessarily that something like Varus is outdated. It's that with all the pieces together, the Gangplank kind of muddied the waters. They kind of counterpicked themselves in the draft a little bit. They got some nice leads. They could have closed this game, but that one smart team fight by Afreeca around Baron has allowed them to be on the precipice of a series victory.
I mean, it's just Rush, you know, the kind boy giveth, the kind boy taketh away. You saw that instant pull on the trigger engagement earlier on in the game, got them the win, started pushing KT further ahead. Does it again there in that bottom lane this time. There's no follow-up. He's way squishier than before. As Afreeca, they have those items stacked up. They do that much damage. Needs to have more restraint if he wants to make it out alive. Depth's gonna go golden, but Apprehend's gonna be available. Pop-up comes in, they drag him through, and Depth is out of there! Mata deleted as well. The bot lane of KT Rolster completely wiped off the face of the earth. Rushing into the backside, will lose out on that Guardian Angel. Keen will burn down as Smeb desperately tries to drag his team, kicking and streaming over that finish line. With just him and UCal alive, I don't know if it's gonna be possible.
5v3, they still have the Ghost of Rush as well to tank up the turret.
Charge forward, they get the hit there on the Smeb. Looking to pop the GA. Still alive, still has the shieldings coming through from UCal, but it's going to be a third inhibitor going down. Kills the Ghost. That's about all he's going to get, but Afreeca, they're looking to get this victory all the way into Game 3. 40 minutes just about here on the clock. One of the longer games that we've seen so far in this summer split. Smeb still doing his damnedest, still alive, still holding on to that Guardian Angel, but that's pretty much going to be it. The Super Creeps pushing forward, the Nexus falls, and Afreeca Freecs take down KT 2-1.
Oh boy, it was so close between Afreeca and KT, the sort of match we were hoping for. KT fans were feeling triumphant. It looked like perhaps they would be able to close this game, but one smart fight around Baron really once again showed why the draft is so important. No one could walk up. Rush tried as he might to zone around the inhibitor and died in half a second. They didn't have a soak tank, a Mundo, an Ornn, a frontliner to actually cause any threat, to actually buy some space for Lulu and Varus to do their thing on the back line. And unfortunately, in the clutch, it's what they didn't have rather than what they did have that counted against KT, and the Afreeca Freecs were made to work by KT, but proved to be too strong.
A heartbreaker there for KT Rolster, ahead for so very long in that game. Looked like they had it in the bag. The bag ripped open at the bottom, and all the contents came spilling out right around that Baron. Smeb especially looking like he might be taking this one a bit hard. He was trying his damnedest, but it just was not enough in the end.
At the end of the season, these players are ready for pressure situations. They're ready for close, long series. It's only the second series of the season. These guys have had a much lower intensity practice schedule for multiple months now, Kilios. And that means that you remember how close this game can be, how much 1 minute among 3 hours can matter. KT Rolster not good enough to close against Afreeca. Afreeca moved to joint first alongside Griffin and also Genji at +3 game score. KT still will be one of our contenders. They did run Afreeca close, but not good enough right at the end.
Fall short at the finish line. That's been the story here. You can see this back and forth battle there between Kuro and Smeb, former teammates, trying to cross that finish line, but it's going to be Kuro in the end, just barely edging him out as far as the damage is concerned, just over 300. But 39 minutes, 20 seconds, one of the longest games that we've had so far. Maybe the second longest, I think, that we've had so far in summer. It's definitely up there. But this was
A couple of 30-plus ones recently to muddy the waters, but you're right. This was tense. Tense all the way through. The gold lead never ballooned like it does in so many of the games on patch 8.11. MVP for the side of Afreeca. Who will it be? A lot of damage from the Vel'Koz in that last fight proved important. He does pick up the double MVP today, Kuro. It was a mid laner's paradise, it turns out. Yukal, he's at 300 points after his 1 win. 2 wins for Kuro. We'll get a long chat with the captain of the Afreeca Freecs.
Yep. So solo MVP here today. He'll move up to tie against Fly and Haru.
This fight's so important, and it's actually the mistake from Yukal to flash into assist rush. He ends up woefully out of position compared to the Darius, who bought time in the bottom and then could flash over. Lulu's dead, and Lulu needs to be pressing shield on the Varus at every possible moment. We saw the Baron take. I believe Smite was on cooldown for this, couldn't tell. No, it was actually available. Smartly played there by the Afreeca Freecs. They get the objective, seemed impossible with the Ghost of Deft, and sadly Deft died instantly in the last fight here. Speaking of dying instantly, goodbye Rush.
Yeah, just too far forward.
Zhonya's into knockup. This is through ult and barrier. He dies. That's how much damage there is. He was in front of everyone else to try to bait and engage, and then didn't have the tools to actually turn it around. What to say, what to say.
Made it himself.
Kuro points at the screen, feeling pretty good about his victory.
That he does. Like I said, tied up against Fly and Haru, just now sitting behind Yukal, who has first place as far as the MVPs are concerned. But 3-way tie for first place for the Afreeca Freecs. But let's go ahead and throw it over to Joel for the translation of our interview.
Thank you very much, guys. It's Joel with your interview translation for today's games. And Afreeca Freecs, after a long run, we do get the win out 2-1 against KC Rolster. We're going to have a talk with Kuro, and also with Zephyr. See how they felt about that win. Because it was a long one. I'm sure there's some fatigue there mixed in, as you guys probably are relishing this victory. I'm Kuro from Afreeca Freecs, mid laner. Do get a solo MVP this time around, getting the top performance on both games that you guys did win. Anything you want to say, Zephyr? The coach for Afreeca Freecs, Zephyr. For you, coach, we always have you as a well-known name in this field, and you just came in after that booth, and you were roaring, and you were absolutely on fire. And something that you felt about that game? I mean, the midway through that game, it was really tough for us, and the players somehow found a really good way to turn that around and get a really good advantage towards our sales. We do say a super play where, of course, Kuro pulling it out and putting it as a bait. And that was a Baron around that and trying to put all the damage in and then escape later. I mean, the last game was so difficult and it was so fatiguing, and we were trying to just come back from behind. That was the most of the storyline for that game, and I feel like, in the end, that was we got the win, and everyone did their part to contribute to it. And it was a complete team effort, of course, and with a lot of the direction that you guys said. We were curious on how you guys want to go with especially with the picks and bans. We always have our ways of taking the approach for the picks and bans. You have a lot of freedom, it seems like, for Afreeca Freecs, and you were trying out multiple picks and trying it out for mid lane, and it just feels like everything that you played so far has been pretty on par in terms of mastering each champion that you have played. Does it come with a recommendation, or was it your independent picks? It's a communication effort. It's between me and the coach, and trying to find out what's better against the opponent champion, and the coach does provide that thought and really allows us to get the best picks out there. Well, Coach, you're talking about lots of information that has to be transferred between the data pool and also trying to pick that for your players. And what is the biggest thing right now? We try what's considered good and what's considered not good. We try that as well. We try to use as many champions as we can, so we figure out for ourselves which champions are the way to go. That just means that it requires more time for practice. If you want to try that many champions, of course, that does allow for a better Afreeca Freecs overall. We're going to look at some highlights from the games from today. This was right around the dragon here. Aatrox was all over it. Like that could have been a real trouble here. What was the communication in here? It's so chaotic. I mean, we tried our best, but we always try to make sure we get at least the minimum amount of communication zone, so at least we know what we're doing. And even as spectators, we couldn't imagine that you guys would communicate. I mean, we had to go in because it was a winning composition for us, and we had confidence with this composition that we were not gonna really lose out this team fight in. And it was just really us trying to make the best decision, and I think we made the best decision going into that one. You were talking about Aatrox being kind of the big player in the mix with the banner command, and everything in the mix just allows for a really good pushing lane. And I mean, today's series, it's been just a party of banner commands and just everyone around it. Just talking about Darius just skipping out an item just to get anything to help out with that. And for right now, it's not the most OP, but still a high tier item that everyone should be taking advantage of. And before you do end up picks and bans, do you always communicate of how to use the banner commands before you go in, or is it something so specific? And we always implement it even during practice, and the players are well aware of how to best utilize it, and they're very much well known as to the best use of the item as well. After the picks and bans, and there are multiple topics as to what champions are worth using. Is there any interesting insight on that one? I mean, for mid lane, I mean, we thought of Anivia. We thought it was a valid pick, and I think basically any champion can come up, and it just feels like anything is pretty much valid right now.
You know who the real MVP is by who they're asking questions to, by the way.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look at some highlights here as well.
I talked to Kuro and Seth was right there.
And what was the shot calling that initiated this one? It was really about defensive efforts, and we were trying to bait out any type of incoming champions in. And as soon as we got that, we got a couple of picks, and we knew the game was over then. And Varus didn't really even allow to get escaped from that situation. And what was the confirmation that you were able to get the Varus there? We were trying to just get the flash out of the Varus, but got closer and closer, and then it led to a dead Varus, and we were happy with that. And of course, with the recent meta that has allowed for really shifty movements, just feels like, do you feel like a mid to a late game does come through, because it doesn't usually go that long? We were trying to end the game early. That was what our competition was all about, so we weren't supposed to extend that over to a later game, but we were going so back and forth, and we thought that we had to just focus a lot more because our composition was initially not made for that. And for what we represent as in this current meta as being so important for a lot of the champions, it just feels like Spirit in the mix has been so stellar in his role. And of course, what do you think about the recent improvement of that player? I think initially after losing in the finals, and just feels like he wants to prove himself a little bit. I think as a player, as an individual, there's much that this player can prove to everyone out there, and I think he's having that mindset to move forward with that. Of course, working hard is definitely a given for professional players, seems like these days, but everybody's working hard, and you do put out the extra effort being put out by Spirit, but also with Kuro, now that you're sitting here in the interview booth, and we are kind of looking at a lot of your former teammates. I'm sure they are doing well, but it seems like you're doing better. And what do you think about that? I mean, Smep's here right now as former teammate. And, you know, whenever he's alive, I just try to kill him. And, you know, when he's dead, he stays dead. And I'm happy with that. And anytime I just come to his waiting room just to say hi, and I always tell him that you did well. But on the inside, you know definitely what I'm thinking. So. But I feel like it's just getting the win. Whoever got the win, that's all that matters in the end. I got the win today. Of course, the winner gets all the rights, supposedly, and that will be further expectation and how this goes on. And it's a chaotic meta still. We emphasize it over and over again. And some teams definitely are taking advantage of it and getting the wins off of that, feeding those wins onto themselves. Of course, it feels like the Afreeca organization is definitely taking advantage of this meta and knowing how to utilize it well to get the wins. What are the kind of the decisive moments in deciding how to get advantage of that? I mean, even before the meta, we were actually very confident in ourselves, but this meta also suits us pretty well, so we're definitely not the one to complain here, and we're confident that as long as it sticks around, we'll get a lot more wins out of this. Still, you talk about Vel'Koz and all these unique picks, and do you feel like you want to kind of emphasize fun over the actual skills? I mean, just I like dominating my opponents, and it's really fun to watch all these unique picks do well and actually win games. So I want to keep emphasizing that as well. You want to be strong and also be fun at the same time. Anything you want to with the Tark maybe? I mean, when I don't get mid, I always go support. So I have experience with the Tark, so definitely it would be a possibility of having that out. It just allows us to further expect future picks from Kuro once again, but lots of fans here cheering for you guys, and anything you guys want to say to them, Kuro, for sure. As the Afreeca Freecs representative to the fans, anything you'd like to say to them? From spring, and we thought that we were trying to beat out the big teams, and we were always getting there, and we feel like we want to keep this up and try to beat all the big teams and also the little teams as well. And we want to go to the finals, win the finals, and do whatever it takes to get to the next stages. So we just keep asking for your support for our team. And that gives us another reason to cheer for Afreeca Freecs as their strengths continue on. And that's going to be the end of the interview with Kuro and also Zephyr, the coach for this organization. Throw it back to you guys for the rest of the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Joel. More reasons indeed to cheer for the Afreeca Freecs, unless of course you're a KT fan, in which case you're pretty sad. You want to boo these guys. You're pissed.
Yeah.
But Afreeca did good. They ruined Russia's 100% win rate. He's now at 66% win rating.
I feel like at some point that sentence became a soccer hooligan this week. Come to the results here. The win was to the side of Afreeca. They were blown away by KT in game number 2, but otherwise well-deserving victory. And I tend to agree with Zephyr's words of this meta seems really good for Afreeca. They were smart drafters in a much more linear draft kind of texture. Now the draft is all over the place, the flex picks are all over the place, and someone like Zephyr can really excel. So while they haven't opened up a meaningful lead over the opposition, they've beaten 2 pretty good teams. They're looking to go further from here. Afreeca Freecs, nice performance by them.
And one of those teams that they're currently sharing first place with is playing up in our next match. Griffin going to be going up against BBQ. Given the form that we've seen from both of these squads and where they lie on the charts right now, BBQ tied for 10th place with SK Telecom. Griffin tied 3 ways for first. You can expect the series to likely be a 2-0, maybe a bit of a faster one to go ahead and close out the night, unless BBQ can surprise us with a stunning performance, because otherwise they might just kind of fall out of this one.
Kind of not even looking for stunning from them. It needs to be a step up. They've had individual mistakes, drafting mistakes, everything not working for them. Guys, also, it's a little bit late, so about a 15 to 20-minute break, then we'll get going. It's a little bit after 8 p.m. compared to you.
Yeah, well, it's okay, because we got a nice full series there from the first set from Afreeca and KT. We're going to go to that break when we come back. BBQ versus Griffin.